In the small village of Willow Creek, there were two houses standing side by side, yet the lives within them could not have been more different. In the first house dwelled the Whitleys, a family of 4 who were never content with what they had. Mr. and Mrs. Whitley were always grumbling about their small home and the hard work it took to keep their meager possessions in order. Their children, Tom and Lily, had learned from their parents' example and often joined in the chorus of complaints. Next door lived the Vaughns, a family that exuded warmth and gratitude in everything they did. Mr. and Mrs. Vaughn worked in harmony, tending to their garden and helping others in the village without hesitation. Their 3 children, Emily, Jack, and little Sophie, always wore smiles on their faces and never hesitated to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. One fateful day, a powerful storm swept through the village, leaving destruction in its wake. The Whitley house suffered severe damage, its roof torn off and walls crumbling. The family was left in despair, scrambling to salvage what little they had left. Meanwhile, the Vaughn house stood resilient against the storm, its sturdy walls weathering the chaos with grace. As the villagers rallied together to help repair the damages, the Whitleys found themselves alone, their complaints driving others away. In contrast, the Vaughns welcomed their neighbors with open arms, their attitudes of gratitude and kindness attracting support and aid from all directions. With the help of their community, the Vaughns' home was soon restored to its former glory, shining brightly in the sun once more. The Whitleys, on the other hand, struggled to rebuild their house and their lives. Their complaints had isolated them, leaving them with no one to turn to in their time of need. It was a harsh lesson learned too late, as they realized that their greed and dissatisfaction had cost them the strength and support of a loving community. In the end, the 2 houses stood side by side once again, but the divide between them was greater than ever. The Vaughns continued to live a life filled with gratitude and contentment, surrounded by a network of caring friends and neighbors. As for the Whitleys, they were a shadow of their former selves, bitter and alone in their house of discontent. And so, the village of Willow Creek learned a valuable lesson that day: that true wealth and happiness come not from material possessions, but from a heart filled with gratitude and a spirit of giving. The Vaughn's house stood as a beacon of light, a symbol of the strength that comes from love and community, while the Whitleys' house stood as a stark reminder of the emptiness that comes from greed and complaints.